I think as expected with what we've seen to date. Certainly the concern around those tweets were really about criminal activity and whether there was market manipulation. So to see the DOJ involved is not a surprise at all, that they're requesting documents. And there isn't something more substantial here going on just yet that we know about. I think is probably a matter of course, and also speaks to the timeline that this, we don't think it's going to get resolved anytime soon. We do think it's going to take a bit of time. And so we end up focusing on fundamentals with Tesla near term, and we think those look good with production numbers scaling up and their ability to potentially reach this 15% gross margin on the Model 3 for the third quarter.
But until we learn more about these investigations, Colin, is that going to put a cap on the valuation?
I think certainly it's an overhang without question, and certainly we don't know what sort of monetary penalties would be, nor what any sort of limitations on Elon Musk's activities with the company will be over time. So it's an overhang on the stock, but if fundamentals are going well, we think the long-term story starts to feel intact, even if Elon Musk isn't there. And we certainly can start looking at examples of other, big companies like Apple, where, founding CEOs and important leaders have left and stock performance after the fact. And Apple's one example, when Steve Jobs left, there was 3 years of significant appreciation in those shares. And I think a lot of bulls will look at that as an example if Musk has to step back a little bit.
Bob, we had just heard from Phil about the latest sort of challenger, and this time it was from Audi. What so far do you think has been Tesla's advantage over the challengers, and has the size of its advantage begun to shrink?
Whom are you asking, me?
Yes, Bob. To you.
Yeah, okay. No, I mean, I've been very consistent. For the last 2 or 3 years, I've been telling the Tesla fanatics, he's got to get his act together quick because global competition is coming. This Audi e-tron is not a big surprise. We've known it was coming for the last 2.5 years. Mercedes is going to have one. BMW. Porsche is going to have a 4-door sedan with a 300-mile range. General Motors has announced 20 different electric vehicle models. And the thing about all of these is they can all be sold at a loss for environmental compliance reasons, and the losses on the electric vehicles can be recouped on the internal combustion ones, which are the ones that 95% of Americans still want. So, and Tesla has no internal combustion engine vehicles on which to recoup the EV losses. So, to me, this is just another. What's happening is what I have predicted for the last 3 years is finally coming to pass. Is everybody in the global automobile industry is going to be offering high quality, high technology, high range electric vehicles, and the Tesla has no advantage, no technological advantage, no software advantage, no battery advantage, no advantages whatsoever. Plus, what wasn't mentioned is whether they increase Model 3 production or not, they're still hemorrhaging cash at a prodigious rate, and that's not going to stop. And as long as they are under federal government investigation, guess what? The SEC will not let them make a capital raise. So unless they've got some source of money somewhere, it's going to be a big problem. And I think the jaws are tightening, and I think in another year or two, we'll see a movie called Who Killed Tesla? Conspiracy movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio.